Would you guys mind introducing yourselves, like, your name as well as the business and why we're here?
Sure. Ladies first.
So my name is Mary Roberto. I like to say that I am the pretty face in front of the camera, but also some of the brains behind the operation as well. So we have a trading card business that we run from the comfort of our own home, basically. We also are on the road as well and do trading card shows and memorabilia. What?
Nothing. Go ahead. You're doing great. I'd like to introduce myself, but
He asked about the business.
yeah, I know.
Okay. Would you like to go now?
I'm JC. My name is James Roberto. I go by JC. My full name's James Christian. And the company's called TCG-JC. But other than that, you're doing a fantastic job explaining the business.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would love, yeah, like wherever you guys want to take this.
Okay.
I'm enjoying the ride, so.
How the business started, essentially, I met her about 5 years ago. And honestly, I just wanted some extra cash to go out on dates. She was used to a rather lavish lifestyle, I would say, restaurants and everything. And I'm more laid back, stay at home type of guy, and I've always been like that. So honestly, I just wanted some extra cash. I went down my parents' basement looking for my old Pokemon cards. At this point, it's around 2018-ish, 2019-ish, and when Pokemon cards really started to ramp up in value. And so I found all my old Charizards, all my old Blastoises, all of the big OG names. I started selling them on eBay. Started doing mystery bags and mystery lots, eBay, Mercari. And that basically started paying for our dates. And then I made an Instagram about 2 years after that. And at that point, I just wanted to kind of sell off everything else I had. I had seen some Instagram pages of different hobby experts, and I just started to make a page. And for some reason, the page just blew up. I don't know if it was just, her face was all over things and, the things that I had, and one thing left to another. And all of a sudden, we're traveling all over New England. We're going down south. We're going across the country, doing card shows, collectible shows, expos, and just one thing after another. It kind of just took off.
Yeah, I mean, well, backing up for a second, with you guys meeting, did you meet like through the hobby, or was that separate?
No, we met online. We met on Bumble. And you can
I
explain.
met my girlfriend on Bumble, so I totally, have the same story in that regard. But yeah, please.
Yeah, so we met on Bumble, and I reached out to him, as you already know, that is the way that Bumble works. And both of us had kind of been online dating, but really nothing had stuck. And then once we met each other, it moved pretty quickly from there. And the rest is history. We got married 6 months ago. We've been together for about 5 years. So yeah, it's been great.
Well, first, congratulations also, but yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. At what point so it was one of those things, there's as a collector, and I was a big collector as a kid, even through my teenage years. My uncle, who had passed, left me a huge baseball collection. Once I got that in the early 2000s, something, I don't know, I kind of took that over, and then I started collecting baseball cards, or turned into Pokemon cards. But there's this stigma of, being in your 30s collecting cards, whether it's trading cards or sports cards, is a huge stigma. And I would definitely say that I wouldn't be here, the business wouldn't be here, the hobby wouldn't be here in this house if it wasn't for her and all the support that she gives.
It's our business is out of our living room. So
yeah, I mean, we're set up. We have two different spots. There's a small little corner in our living room where I have a corner desk, and I got all Funko Pops around and posters and stuff. And it's like this, you wouldn't think we're in a small 1-bedroom apartment. And then right now we're in our dining room, and when we're doing different live streams, it's either one of two places, depending on how big. So I mean, we literally do this out of like a 500 square foot apartment, and we have business from all over the world at this point, 5 years later. And not just in person, not just in the United States. You know, I have a lot of sellers in Japan, England, Italy. One of the biggest things, actually, we went on our honeymoon in Italy. We're both Italian, and we partnered with a plethora of hobby shops, collectible shops. We did so many advertisements while in Italy that are huge. We have a huge following now, you know, in that Italian base, which is awesome, which really is awesome. It kind of ties us together to our heritage, and it wasn't something we were expecting going there, but being the collector I am, I had to walk into a card shop. I made my spiel, and then I was like, yeah, make an advertise for us. We'd love to have you. We'd love to open our United States customer base. And they gained a lot of followers. They gained a lot of business, and it made us look good. And now I have a lot of sellers that, you know, a lot of buyers, I mean, coming from out of Italy, which is just cool.
Yeah, I mean that's sick that you guys are able to expand that much from, you know, your apartment to all the way to Italy. It sounds like in Japan. I guess, you know, well, starting also like Mary, for you, were you into cards before, you know, meeting JC?
So, when I was younger as well in middle school, I also did collect Pokemon. So when he found his collection in his parents' basement, I it brought back memories for me as well, a lot of nostalgia. And then actually just last year, I found some of my collection as well in my dad's house, that I didn't know that I still had. So, once we started doing this, it definitely brought back some fond memories. And we do both enjoy sports as well. So, yeah, I can definitely say that it's piqued my interest in the last few years from taking a break for a very long time and then coming back to it.
Which is what we try to capture in what we do. Um, you know, we have full-time jobs. We do not do this, you know, we're not looking to make millions of dollars, or, you know, we're not trying to be on national TV and like Golden Auctions, if you're familiar with that company. We do this for two reasons at this point. No matter what the hobby is, you could talk about trading cards or watching sports or going to church. It doesn't matter what you do. If you don't have the next generation interested in it, it will die. And it's, like I said, it's like that for anything. And we cater what we do towards families, towards children, because those are the values that we have in our lives and what we care about. And a lot of, you know, I could just sell these cards here on eBay, and, you know, no one would know who I am. And I'm just looking for good reviews on eBay. That's not what we do. We're very hands-on. You know, every day we're trying to create different ways to bring kids into the hobby in a more fun and effective way. And one of the ways that we do that is we host a lot of different prize games, whether it's in person or online streaming. You know, we have games as cheap as $1 or $2, usually nothing over $2 or $3. And, you know, we give away packs, we give away graded cards, we give away huge hits and autographs and relics, all these different things every time that you play. We have a
Yeah,
prize wheel game.
yeah. Could you go into like the prize games? Is this like primarily prize wheel stuff?
So when we started online and Instagram, we had a pull game. And what the pull game was is you have a small deck of cards, about 100 cards or so. And every time you played the game, someone was able to pull a card out, and you had about a 1 in 5 chance of winning something else. So it could be a pack or a graded card that you see here. It could be a Funko Pop. It could be, but every time you played, that card was attached to a prize. So you knew that every time you were playing, you were going to win something. That was huge. From there, I ended up buying a 7-foot prize wheel, found it on Amazon, as well as where I find just about everything that I have for supplies.
And we get asked that question all the time, like, where did you find this? Where is this? I love this idea.
We are the first to everything.
People have taken a lot of ideas from us and then kind of incorporated it into their business as well.
Yeah,
the prize wheel, especially.
So we moved on. We still have that. We do that once in a great while. Then we bought huge prize wheel. It's bigger than I am. It's about 7 feet in height. We've set that up in our living room, and we've brought that all over the country as well. There's about 14 spots on the wheel. You know, every time someone spins the wheel, it's also, I did it up a little bit, so there are neon lights on it, and there's like, you know, Charizard figurines and things. And so I took this basic wheel and kind of revamped it a little bit. But you're gonna win a pack, you're gonna win hits, you're gonna win, you know, graded cards, you're gonna win Funkos. It's basically the same game, just different. And then from there, I found this. I would say it's about 3.5 feet, 4 feet. It's a huge Plinko board. Do you know what Plinko is? You drop, there's like a little coin, you drop it to the slot. It goes through the little pegs and then it lands in something. We recently been running a Pokey Plinko game. I like the alliteration. I use a lot of alliteration in my game titles. So we've recently doing that.
That's been a huge hit.
That's been a huge hit.
Yeah.
I have a this one I think is the coolest, but it's hard to do a cheaper game. So this is a more expensive game, more for adults. It is a well, what's it called? I forget. The slab game, the slab dice game. Slab battle. Sorry, it blanked. So I have a game. So this is what happens. Kids see it, adults get this nostalgia, and then adults like, I want to play, but I want to play for something, you know, a little, like they don't want to spend $1, they want to spend $5 or $6, you know, a little more money, but a little more bang for their buck. So I created this game called Slab Battle. So in our living room, in that corner where my desk is, I have a bunch of Pokemon wallpapers and a Pokemon blanket that I put down on the desk. And I have these huge dice about this big. And in front of you, or in front of the camera where people are looking, they have all these different slabs, kind of like this. And we play an actual Pokemon battle, but with dice. So every Pokemon card has an HP, hit points. So this particular card is 100. So when you roll the dice, it's going to say 10 damage, 20 damage, 30 damage, caught, missed. So there's different categories on the dice, and every time you roll it, you're going to do damage. Once you knock it out, if you land on a caught, then you got basically won the slab. And so that's been a huge game as well. I could go on and on for days because we have created so many different fun games. And the overwhelming support we've had within the community has just been great.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like you guys are really capitalizing on you know, an aspect of the hobby that's more like, I think, you know, it's in the same kind of spirit or the same kind of frame of mind as like ripping open packs, you know, where it's like the chance and, you know, the mystery of like whether or not you're going to actually hit those card like and get like a great card. Is that like it for you, both of you personally? Is that why you're interested in the hobby? Is that like the main attraction for you?
I would say so. We get a lot of flack about what we do, to be honest with you. Not everyone likes it. Honestly, one reason is because we came up with it first. Like she was saying before, the overwhelming amount of Plinko boards and prize wheels and things of this nature that we now see out and about is just crazy. But it's fine. I people ask me, where did I get this? Where did I get
flattering.
That? It's flattering for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is a hobby for us. We're not some corporate office. We're not looking. I mean, if I make a couple dollars at the end of the week, sure, that's great. But we're not making anything crazy.
We're in the hobby for others. I would say that's my reasoning behind it. I'm a teacher full time, so seeing the kids come over to the table and win a prize and light up just like makes my entire day. And then like James said too, like the adults and parents and all of them coming over to the table and seeing their eyes light up too, but in a different way with the nostalgia and memories coming flooding back to them. I can't tell you how many times people come over to the table and tell us a story about how they used to collect with their dad, or how they used to go to sporting events with their parents, or their grandparents or stuff like that. So for me, I would say it's watching other people have the enjoyment of the hobby and feel fulfilled and feel excited about what we're bringing to them.
That's it definitely hits my heart for sure.
Yeah.
And because of what we've done, I know I, for one, have the connections that I've made have been just unbelievable. Like we're partnered with so many different companies at this point, people that want us to make advertisements for them, people that want us to get their products out there. Can you use our product? We'll send you our, $400 slab case as if you just use it. If you bring it to a show and just, talk about it, things like that. We're partnered with the Yawkey Way Report, which is the programs that you buy outside of Fenway Park. We make advertisements for them all the time. We're at the Sox game yesterday, opening day. We ended up interviewing the owner of the company. We posted that. We made an advertisement for the program itself. We make advertisements for the ballpark, and that, for a person that grew up playing baseball and was a diehard Sox fan and, wanted to play at Fenway and, I did my time playing wise, to be so removed from baseball, but at the same time now being in the thick of it, just in a slightly different way. Like I sleep like a baby sometimes thinking about that.
Yeah.
So I'm two ways. I will be up until 4 a.m. multiple nights in a row because I can't turn my brain off. I'm thinking about, what game can we run next? Will kids like this? Will kids like the game that we're going to be doing this weekend? And then the other side of it is, when I'm done thinking about that stuff,
which is never,
it's never, I will have a deep sleep and I'll have a smile on my face when I wake up. Not always, but there are those occasions where I feel fulfilled at the end of the day.
The company really that we've created, it has taken us to places where we really never thought it would go. We thought it would just be like this small thing, temporarily. And now it's like, we can't really see a life without it.
Yeah. But, like we said, we still have jobs. That is our main source of income. We spend a lot to do this as well. I mean, we run games knowing that we're going to take a hit just to get the content out of it. And that's, our Instagram page it's huge, and, we enjoy doing it just for the content. And so we'll run games or go places knowing that we're not going to make any money, but the fulfillment we get out of it, knowing that, we have followers now. We have people that come to shows just to see us. My family comes to shows and plays the games. It's like, people completely.
His grandmother plays our games
all the time. She's 85 years old. She comes to almost all the shows that are local. She loves playing the prize wheel. She has no idea what she's winning, but that, like, I tear up every time.
Yeah.
And I have people that, just a couple weeks ago, I got a text from someone I met at a card show, saying that they got some bad news health wise, and they won't have long to live. But the experience that we created for him and his son at their first card show was just made, and that for 2 weeks now, I've been thinking about that every day. I just have. And I haven't been able to get out of my brain, but we get stories, like that, or, really happy stories or really sad stories all the time. And it just it gives us a little more motivation to, we have to keep doing this. We may feel burned out sometimes. We may not want to do it. We go from this state to this state, this place to that place. But at the end of the day, when we come back, we're always in a better mood than we left.
How often are you both going out to these card shows?
This year is a lot.
This year is a lot. So Card show wise or collectible show wise, we have 18 scheduled up until September. From September to December, that there might be a couple more that will pique my interest and I'll sign up for. We're also, I'd say at least once or twice a week, I'm doing an advertisement for a company, whether they send me products or I go there or I go to their shop or something like that. But it's kind of, there's no real answer anymore because no matter where I am, I wind up doing something for somebody. We went, like I said, we had our honeymoon in Italy. This was supposed to be about us. And all of a sudden I had, one card shop after another, like, we know who you are. Like, how do you know who I am thousands of miles away? How do you know who I am? We'd love for you to come here. And it's like, yeah, I'll come there in the middle of my honeymoon. And she was a good sport, though. She was a good sport.
We were in Italy, so how could I say no?
It's also fun when, people send us things. They don't even tell us, like, people like, I love you guys. Here's a couple packs to open. Like, when you're live next time, give me a shout out. Like, just like nothing, not looking for anything, or just like, here's some cards that I just pulled. We thought you'd like them.
That's why the hobby is so great too, is because a lot of people that are in it have the same mindset that we do and are in it to also make other people happy. Which I found, like, more and more the longer that we've done it, that like I said, a lot of people have the same mindset and are in it for other people to enjoy what they get.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you classify, like, both, the business as well as, like, the overall brand? Like, would you call yourselves a hobby shop in that regard?
No, I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't even say we're a business at this point. We are hobbyists who are trying to build a brand right now. And our brand at this point is family. This started with the idea of this could be a family when we were dating. It progressed to, we have 2 cats. We incorporate the cats in our live streams all the time. We incorporate the cats into our content all the time. I once set up like 100 Funko Pops in our hallway, and made a maze out of it to see if they could get out of it. And then all of a sudden I was doing an ad for Funko. We go to shows, and I've gone to shows where, I've sold a few $1,000s, and I've gone to shows where I didn't sell a single thing. We spend a lot to make content, and we don't always make money from it, because we're still building that brand. And I think that's the most important thing right now for us, is continuing as we build ourselves, as we look towards the future, as we partner with more and more people, remaining intact of our family brand is first. So I would say that we're more hobbyists at this point than a business. That's just the only way that I can explain it.
And I guess, like, how has your relationship with trading cards really changed since you both started on this kind of venture? Like, it sounds like this came out of the reintroduction, or the, getting back into what you were saying about the Pokemon cards and kind of like digging up those old memories. But from that point, has viewing and trading cards, like, in more of a brand sense, altered how you view cards in general?
Absolutely. I definitely do things a lot more intelligently at this stage of the game. When I first started out, before, it was about 2 years or so that I was doing this before I kind of brought her in to the grand scheme of things. Or it was partly like I was spending so much time doing this. I was spending 3 times my regular job, hours wise, doing this at middle of the night, all hours of the night, where I kind of just needed help. So then she came on board. I was overpaying for things because I didn't know what I was doing. the last pack of Pokemon cards I ripped was e-reader series in 2003. Fast forward 15 years later, I don't know what things are. I just wanted to get back into the hobby because I needed something to do. I was basically done with sports at that point. I've always been a person who had multiple things going on, multiple baseball teams, multiple jobs, and the hobby gave me a path to walk on for the first time in a while. And how I see trading cards now or sports cards, I don't necessarily always see it like this is, I'm going to profit, I'm going to make so much money. It's more, the first pack I ever opened up of Pokemon cards, and I was 5 years old. My mom brought me to the Arsenal Mall, which is in Watertown, a few minutes from here. The first pack that I opened had a Blastoise base set card in it. And then I immediately went back in the store and was like, Mom, we need to buy another. And she was like, well, I don't have the money for that. Maybe next week. And then it became a thing where every week on a Friday, she'd take me to the Arsenal Mall and I'd buy a pack. And this lasted a couple of years. And my parents didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have a lot of money to spend on Pokemon cards, but I got a $4 pack every once in a while, a couple every month, and that brought me joy. And then fast forward so many years later, I used those same cards I had to start this business that I didn't know was a business at the point, which led me to her, which led me to more Blastoises and then, at one point when my uncle passed, that got me into baseball cards. And now I collect certain players that he liked, and it all comes full circle. And like I said, our brand is family, because no matter what point in my life you take the hobby that I was a part of, my family is involved in some way, shape, or form. So it's not just about money. It's not like about business. It's not about this stuff. It's more, this is nostalgia, not only for the fact of me being a kid, but my family involved and now involved in what I do. And now my wife is involved. I mean, my cats are involved in my content on a weekly basis. Like, and hopefully at some point when we have kids, they'll be interested in it, or they'll watch me do it, or you know what I mean? And that's like the next chapter for us, hopefully. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll come on, maybe we'll do another interview in a little bit and
we'll have some good news.
We'll have some good news for you.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. And starting to wrap up, like it seems as though some of the people that I've talked to, like, also for my own self, like baseball's my favorite sport. I'm a very big Dodgers fan. My girlfriend, unfortunately, is a very big Red Sox fan. As much as it, so 2018 gets brought up a lot, and I'm over it, I think. But like I almost see like my own interest in these cards as like an extension almost of my own interest in sports and baseball, and that kind of, I guess, enjoyment from the sport of it and being a spectator. It sounds like the relationship with sports cards kind of grew out of more of the joy of collecting Pokemon cards and things like that. Like, I guess I'm wondering, like, what overlap there is between, your own enjoyment of these sports and watching it as a spectator, as well as, as a collector.
So when I was a kid, I emulated Ted Williams, who played for the Sox, the greatest hitter who ever lived. My whole life was emulating his swing, emulating his attitude. I fished. I wanted to be a fisherman. I wanted to fly jets at one point. I wanted to do everything that he did. And being in the hobby, as soon as I started buying trading cards again, or buying into sports cards, man, I just bought all Ted Williams stuff because that's exactly what I wanted. My favorite modern player growing up was Nomar Garciaparra. He was a god to me. He was like, I didn't get to watch Ted Williams. I only knew of Ted Williams and watched clips, but Nomar was my guy that I grew up with. So then it became, I want everything Nomar. I have literally like the biggest Nomar Garciaparra collection, probably in all of Boston. And I dare someone to try to challenge me with that. Like right here, This is a game used jersey of Ted Williams. There's only 9 of these made. 9 was his number, so this card being out of 9 is like huge. I ripped this card myself a couple years ago. This is a triple autograph of Noma, Veritek, and Pedroia, as well as their patches. And all of the patches have multiple colors on them, which also makes them, more valuable. And then tying in my family, I played hockey for a little bit. I wasn't a huge, hockey fan. I go in and out of the sport a little bit. My dad has as much as I was with Ted Williams. My dad was like that with Bobby Orr. He actually got to see Bobby Orr. He sold papers at the Garden for years. And so I would say the past year or so, I've made it my job, I guess, to go out and buy or open as much Bobby Orr stuff as I can. And meanwhile, couple Bobby Orr autographs, all low numbered. And these two particular, especially this one, because it's actually written on glass and then encapsulated as a card. I get offers for it all the time. And my dad always says, "You're not selling it." I don't care if what someone offers you, you're not selling it, because that even though I got it and I ripped it out of the pack, it's actually his card. So I always say, like, "Dad, someone offered me X, Y, and Z for this." He's like, "Not enough," but it's worth 3 times what it's actually. They're offering 3 times. Doesn't matter. It's worth. If you could be $1 million, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? There's only like 1 of those. Sorry. So it all ties into family.
Yeah. And I would say for me too, like, not only do I enjoy seeing the kids and the families and the adults come to our table or join our games online and see the happiness that they get from it, but me kind of taking a step back and watching him do it and seeing how much he loves every aspect of what's involved brings me joy too. And so it's not like he said, like, it's not a business. It doesn't always bring us income, but he loves it. And I love watching him do it, and I love what it brings to other people. So
I don't like
in
doing
turn,
it.
I love it too.
I don't like doing it without her. So as any married couple would be, not everything is always going to be positive. There are times she does not want to come with me. There are times that, we're there and, we sacrifice things with our families, things with our friends. And that's happened too. That's something we've had to navigate through our marriage and our relationship.
Yeah.
But we're at the point where I couldn't do it without her. I don't want to. It's not, I've done shows recently, where I'm by myself, or I've had another family member help me. My cousin now, John, he helps me all the time at shows, and now he's thinking, I want to start collecting, and I'm dragging more and more people into this, even though I don't need to. But that's the hobby. It can be addicting, but I can't do a show without her because it's not as fun for me. Like, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I might be running a couple fun games at my table, but
it's memories for us.
We
too.
bounce off each other so well. And I think that's why, there are shows that reach out to us all over, like, "You need to come here. We need to have you."
You can't come without her.
There are shows that, like, "You're bringing your wife, right?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, she's going to come. I'm going to convince her." We just got back from a trip to Florida. All of my family came, and, like, everyone was on vacation, but I worked. And that was fine for me because I know they were having a good time. We've done shows at Fenway Park. We've set up shop inside Fenway Park doing what we do. Like, we've made so many memories. It's just like the memories, the family ties, the nostalgia of what we do, tying in players that I've watched, you know what I mean? Everything all mixed in is why we're doing it.
And have you guys been, presented or gone to any card shows in Maine specifically?
So we haven't. So we were supposed to do, which I believe you guys interviewed Tom and George of the Northeast Sports Card Expo. By the way, we've done shows everywhere, literally everywhere. We have the most fun. We make the most money. The most amount of kids and families that come out are at his shows. We were supposed to do the show this past year, this past fall in Maine. But we were on our honeymoon during that show, so we weren't able to attend. But we are signed up for the Portland show coming up this year.
Very excited for that.
We're very excited for that.
Yeah.
She had our bachelorette party in May,
in Portland, so I'm excited to go back. It's a fun town.
I visited Portland about a year or so before I met her with the buddy that lived up there. So I've been there once, and we're excited to come back up. To be honest with you, we're making it obviously
a little getaway.
That's the other thing. Like, this is how we see it oftentimes when we're traveling outside of the state, for instance, whether it's, I wouldn't say Maine is close, but a couple hours away, or if we're going all the way down to Florida. If we can make enough money at the show to pay for our hotel and pay for our food and going out a couple nights, that's all we need. We're not like, profit wise, if we get to there where we're just breaking even, that's our vacation. And so we make vacations out of it. Yeah, we're going away to Maine for 2 days, but we're going there for like 4 or 5 days in actuality, because we make it a vacation. We make it a getaway. We do things we've never done before. We experience new things, and that brings us closer too. Our vacations are work, I guess, but
yeah,
we can do so many vacations because we work hard.
Yeah.
Totally. And one last question, Mary, specifically for you as well as JC, like, how do you think the hobby can, do a better job of like including more, women, for instance, and kind of just because it is historically like, or at least the image of it is kind of like this male guy thing, I guess. Like, how do you feel? Do you see more women getting interested in this and like more young girls at these card shows coming up to you guys?
Absolutely. I can definitely say that there are a lot of I would say young girls specifically that even go to the shows with like their families or their fathers, and then you can see that they're starting to have interest in it as well, and they're going around to the tables and they're talking to you, they're talking to us about the cards that we have and stuff like that. And there's a huge presence of women in the hobby online. I've noticed a lot more the longer that we've been doing it. So like we said before, I think just like continuing to have our prize games and reaching out to the kids, that's really going to be the way to bring more females and more women into the hobby, really from starting that young and like bringing them in. And the more advertisements, I would say, for anyone that's in the hobby, the better. And then that'll reach more women as well. But I can definitely say a lot of children that we see are girls, young girls, teenagers, stuff like that come out to shows. And mothers even too. Sure. Like a lot of women in their 40s and 50s will come over and chat with us too, that have a lot of interest in it too. So I see a lot of women presence for sure.
Also, JC, real quick, I think the Zoom session is gonna like close on us before I get the answer, so I'm gonna resend you a new link. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want to continue for the 40 seconds we have left.
Okay,
sure.
Sounds good.
So there's two things. The metrics that I use on Instagram, I have noticed an uptick in women that have been following and also buying into things that we're doing, and just reach. The reach has been, I would say, maybe a couple of years when I started out, my post would reach maybe like literally 1% to 2% of women, and now we're at about anywhere between 9% and 12%, which isn't a lot, but from speaking with other people at different shows and different followers, and we all know each other at this point. Even if I've never met someone, it's like I know them.
But you were saying about the increase in women on the Instagram stats.
Yeah, so the more content that you make, the more reach you have, and that's just the name of the game. But I have noticed that a lot more women are, I guess, paying attention. Following wise, I've noticed that a lot of women don't necessarily follow, but they view a lot, and they might buy behind the scenes. There's a lot of women that they only have a handful of posts on their account because they don't want to show there are women in the hobby, and I've noticed that over time. But I think it's gotten to the point where I see more women making Pokemon accounts, making rip and chip sports accounts. Women in sports, I've seen a huge uptick, I would say, the past year. A lot of women are doing some sort of like pack ripping, rip and ship is what we call it in the hobby. And we joke all the time, and this doesn't have to be something that you include in. It's just something like our business is our business, and why we do things, and how wholesome we are. But there are a lot of people who scam out there too,
Yeah.
who are only doing what they're doing and showing their faces because they think they're going to get more of an appeal. And this happens all the time. And that's why we stay true to what we believe in and why we continue to strive forward and do what we do, because we do collectively, me and her, what we do is for the kids.
I think that's another reason too why like we would love it if our hobby and our brand does reach our reaches really far to bring more women into the hobby, because when we do go to shows, it is still a little bit of a surprise that like his wife is kind of behind the scenes and helping. And I get asked all the time, like, do you enjoy it? And my answer is 100% yes. So I would love if like other women saw that I'm doing it too, and if that could bring other women into the hobby, I would love if that would be the case.
Part of our games too that we have, we try to go out of our way to, like, on our prize wheel, we make these like homemade Pokemon mystery boxes. So like we buy all of these different supplies on Amazon, and we completely just make a box. It'll have like a Pokemon on the front, and it's printed on all the sides. Inside there's like a gold or pink shredded paper. There's packs and things, and we tried to make
pink ones, blue ones, green
girl
ones,
focus. We have a lot of girl focus stuff, which is always a hit. Like a 7-year-old girl will come and see a Chansey, which is pink, and I want this,
and she might not even really know what it is, but
right.
She sees that it's pink and she wants it, and then she asks questions about it, and then gets more knowledge about it, and then wants to continue in the hobby.
And then inside is like a Togepi notebook, which is little girls love Togepi. And then there's a Pikachu pen, and then Pikachu cards are in it. And we try to make it where if a family of 5 comes up and it's 4 boys and a little girl, she doesn't feel left out. They all can play once, and she feels like, even if she doesn't like Pokemon or doesn't know what Pokemon is, they enjoy the joy on her face, where all my brothers played and now I want to play, even though I don't have interest in it. And then, like she said, questions get asked, and then they're looking at other things. Then all of a sudden we see them in another show in a couple of months, and now the little girl comes over and shows, hands me, how many binders we get handed all the time? Like, can you look at my Pokemon cards? I got this one yesterday and I got this one last week. And it was like, I know that she started this because, we had, a $5 mystery box that we were selling with all different girly type of Pokemon stuff.
I think that pretty much does it for me in terms of questions. Also, just for out of curiosity, JC, are you also like a teacher or in kind of that world as well?
No, I am a project manager for the state government. I am basically like an accountant, which all of the skills. So I went to school for business. I got a major I majored in business management, and I minored in business law. And then as soon as I got out of college, I got a job with the state government, basically doing accounting. It's a little more in depth than that, but that's basically what I am. And I'm a huge numbers guy. So when I started doing this, all of my, everything that I know how to do came full circle into this.
It's very helpful.
And it is very helpful. And I take all of that, and like I said, I do my utmost best to make things literally as cheap as possible. And some people don't like it. Some people are selling the same thing that I'm selling for $2 or $3 more, we've had a lot of shows where, we get told, we don't want to be next to you because we have lines out the door sometimes. I'll be honest with you, literal like 50 kids line up just to come and see us. And then people next to us get a little mad, but we will continue to do it.
Yep.
Sure, for sure. And Mary, also, like, what grade? What like are you a elementary school teacher or like middle school?
So I teach ages 3 months to 6 years. I've been teaching for almost 11 years now. So I've been doing it for a long time, and I've taught basically all ages up to 8th grade. So that's really my joy, which is why this connects me to the hobby as well. So
And
great.
we have a lot of nieces and nephews.
Yes.
Especially on her side.
Yes.
I'm basically was the older cousin with all my little cousins, like a dozen different cousins. I was always the babysitter. So I don't know, all of that maybe brought us together too, and is, a good reason why this works is family.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's really great to just like I don't know, see those family values like still really remain strong for you guys even as you're growing and becoming more getting more business and like having you guys still stay true to those uh core values that like started you on this venture is pretty cool to see. Uh
Thank you.
is there anything else that, you guys want to say that we haven't touched on?
Um, we really are thankful for you doing this. We it's really it warms our heart to know that people are actually interested in our story. Um, and this is only going to be I think this is going to be a stepping stone for us to do bigger and better things, because we have been contemplating for a while. And we've gotten a lot of support from other people telling us, they'd invest in us and look to us to do podcasting. And that might be an avenue that we want to get into in the hobby, podcasting about the hobby or podcasting about life, and maybe a mix of everything, and kind of like how this conversation went in a couple different ways. We've been thinking about doing that. So this has been a great challenge and opportunity, and I think from this past hour or so, like we could do that. We could easily do it.
Yep.
I could talk forever. I'm not gonna
Well,
lie.
yeah, that's
I could
true.
literally talk forever.
But it's because I love it. That's why.
Well, you guys certainly have the setup for it. It's a little too red in my opinion, but I think that's just
In here.
She has if we knew, she just bought a Dodgers hat.
I did. I just bought a Dodgers hat.
Well, if we do this again, we'll have her wear the Dodgers hat.
that would make my Dodger heart very, very warm. But yeah, again, thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. Getting to hear your stories. You guys were great to talk to, and it really is apparent how into just this and how passionate you guys are. So I'm really excited to just have talked to both of you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What exactly are you like? Is this going like? Where is this going? What are you're interviewing? Like, I know you interviewed George and Tom. You interviewed us. Are you interviewing other types of people in the hobby? And like, what is the main purpose exactly of what you're trying to accomplish? What story can you tell?
Yeah, totally. So for like some more background info, like I work for Maine Public, which is the public, radio uh organization for like the state of Maine. And so I'm a reporter with them. So I do kind of like these feature length pieces on kind of like topics that relate to Maine. And so I'm doing a story on trading cards and just more like, of course, like connected to Maine and talking about like the Northeast Card Expo and that upcoming event. But I've talked to like some other hobby people within the hobby, as well as like shop owners and things like that. But I think being able to use I think having you guys like come in with this perspective as someone who where the approach is like talking about trading cards, and it's really a reflection on like how that hobby has really grown into, not just the actual act of ripping cards, it's the discussion around that and kind of like getting that enthusiasm into the piece. I think that's, the ultimate goal, at least for how I envision using this.
So will this become like an article, or will this become like a video that you end up editing of everyone combined, like a little docu-series? Or
So it's primarily going to be an audio piece for broadcast around Maine, but I'm also going to be writing up a written article for it, and with the audio as well on our website, which I can send over to you guys once it gets published.
sounds good. Yeah, we're definitely interested in hearing, the final piece and everything, and reading about what all of your discussions as well as our own. If you do end up editing any of the video we're doing, we'd love to get as much as we can. And, this is where my business brain comes in to promote, Maine Public as much as I can, not only because we're on this, and, we can only help each other grow. And I say that all the time. We only grow if we help each other. And so, this was great content for you guys and for me. So, I'm always going to throw that out there. So, but we're excited to see the final piece, and definitely keep us touch. And if you ever want to talk again or, do something else, we are only a phone call away.
For sure. And if you guys, would be interested, I can send you the the recordings for, this meeting specifically,
That'd be awesome.
Forever you guys want to use it. So
that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And great. Yeah, you as well. All right.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet
Catch you
you.
later.